Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you've been keeping well. I'm glad that you are back. And for our new subscribers, welcome. My name is Miranda and I teach sewing tutorials, beginner friendly sewing tutorials. So today I'll be showing you how to make the blouse that you've seen in the thumbnail. It's a very easy blouse. It's got a high-low effect going on because it's got the longer parts on the sides and the shorter parts on the front and at the back. So stay tuned until the end of the video. You should be able to create one of your own after you've watched this. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share our videos. We'll see you in our next tutorials. Bye. Okay, so let's get into our tutorial. This is the fabric that we'll be using to make the blouse that you've seen on the thumbnail. It's a very easy and very beginner friendly. So this is a satin fabric that I bought in Maputo, Mozambique. I liked it. Yeah, and I like the color. So this is I bought about 2 meters. Okay, so we're going to be cutting it in a very easy manner that a beginner can also easily make this blouse for themselves. So you can see I've drawn these random lines. I hope you can see all of them. So the first one is going to act as our shoulder line, and the second one is our upper chest line or your armhole line. So for me, I'm working with an armhole of 16 inches. That is your round armhole measurement. Mine is 16, so this is 8 inches. Okay, so you divide it by 2 to get this distance. Okay, and then from here, from your upper chest line, the next line is the length of your blouse. Okay, this is about 12 3/4 from the upper chest line. Okay, or if you want, you can measure it from your shoulder line. Mine is 21 inches. Okay, maybe it's easier if you do it this way. That also, this distance here, the depth, will depend on how long you want your blouse to be. If you look at that picture or the clip in the thumbnail, you'll see that there's some parts that are longer than the other parts. So the center front and the center back are shorter than the sides. So this will be the distance of the shorter sides. This will be the distance of the center front. Okay, so this is 21 inches, and then I added 1 inch sewing allowance. Okay, I'm trying to make it very simple so that it's easy to understand. Okay, so let's go to the shoulder line. Okay, my shoulder to shoulder measurement is 16, so I'm working with 8. Okay, you're going to bring that measurement down here on your upper chest line so that you create your armhole. Okay, then you're going to connect this. Okay, I hope you can see this. You're going to connect that, and then you're also going to come down by 0.75 or 3/4 there, so that we create our shoulder slant. Remember, our shoulder is not straight like that, otherwise it will not sit properly. And then we need to do our neckline. So we're going to be doing or working with a neck width of 3 inches. Okay, and then for the back we'll use 1.5. I'm going to use this to draft the back as well, so that's why I'm making that. And then for the front we'll use 4 inches. This is the depth for your neckline. Remember, your front is always deeper than the back. Okay, and then we're going to create our armhole. So before we do that, let us create our shoulder slant. Okay, so you're going to connect this 3-inch mark to that point where you came down. This is not the best chalk, by the way. You can use a tailor's chalk. Couldn't find any in the house, so I just used what I had. Okay, I'm just gonna put this here because I'll be using it. So you need to get the half of the distance, rather half of this is going to be 4. So this line that you drew, you need to get the midpoint, which is 4, and you go in to make the front curve 3/4, okay, or 0.75. Then you just join it back to that point there. Okay, you can do this by freehand. Okay, just trying to get the curve here. Okay, just want to blend this in to here. Okay, and we're also going to draw in our neckline. I'll just use my hand. My space is limited here, so the ruler cannot fit. And then this will be for the front. Okay, so something like that. So we have our necklines, we have the back neckline and we have the front neckline. Hope you can see that. And this becomes our back armhole. Okay, so we have something like that, right? And then now to make that style line, remember this is where you have your armhole line. Okay, so to make that style line, you just come to this point where your armhole ends, and here you need to put, this will be the length of the blouse on the longer sides. If you saw the okay, just want you to see where it ends. Okay, so if you look at the thumbnail, you see that it has the longer and shorter parts, and this will be the part that is the longer side. So for me, I'm going to use, I put 17 inches enough. I'll say 18 inches. That is how long I want it to be from the armhole to the length. It's just a few inches below the hip. That's where I want it to go. So here you put the depth that you want for your blouse. The next thing is just for you to connect. Okay, I want to just bring this in focus. There we go. So I measured, don't know if you were able to see this. So this distance here, as I was explaining, this is the distance from where your armhole starts or ends. Okay, this is the distance you're going to put for the length, the longer part of the blouse. If you see the photo, as I was saying, it has some parts that are longer than the other sides. So this is the longer part. So then you just join it up to, I have to move it around so that you can see clearly. Okay, so I'm just going to use the ruler. We're just going to connect this point here. Okay, we're going to be connecting this point where you've measured there. This is the distance now from your armhole to the length. This is the longer length of your blouse. So when you get here, you just connect this point down to your hemline. Okay, going to be connecting it all the way to your hemline. Okay, and going to add about ½ inch. Let me just add, I'm going to add 1 inch also for folding allowance, seam allowance. Remember, you have to overlock this or finish it off, whatever. So you need to have enough. I think 1 inch is enough. So this is just for our sewing allowance. We're also going to add 1 inch. You can even use ½ inch. Let's use ½ inch here for your hemming allowance. Okay, so we're going to add ½ inch all around now. For your hemming allowance. Okay, so I'm just doing that because we are drafting this directly on the fabric, so you must remember. Okay, so then you can just connect that for your sewing allowance. Okay, so I was just adding seam allowances, 1 inch that you're gonna need, 1 inch, no, ½ inch here, ½ inch sewing allowance. Okay, we're also gonna add ½ inch sewing allowance. Okay, so we have our pattern there. The next thing is we're just gonna cut it, and we're going to cut okay, so I've done one thing here. I forgot when I was folding the fabric, because I want to use the back to cut the front. Okay, I want to cut the back first before we cut the front. So because this fabric is non-stretchy, it's a woven fabric, so it means you need to have a way of getting into it, right? So we're going to need to put a zipper at the back. You can put it, yeah, or just put it at the back. So what I've done is I unfolded about 1 inch here where I folded. This is the folded side, so I unfolded about 1 inch. Hope you can see that, which is enough to insert the zipper. So when you are folding yours for the back, make sure you draw a line for your zipper allowance. Okay, so we've just added 1 inch there, which is this fold that you can see here. That's what we're going to use for the zipper. Okay, and then the next thing is just to cut this out. Okay, just gonna move this there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut. I also added some pins because this fabric is quite slippery, so to keep it from falling and moving. So just cutting this out, and we're going to use this piece to cut the front. Okay. So you must also have enough fabric to make a strip of a belt. So here I'm just leaving sewing allowance to finish off your armhole. just gonna move that out. Okay, so we have our piece here. We're also going to slit this open so that we have two back pieces. Okay. Okay, because we are going to be using this piece to cut the front, I want to fold this part in so that we can use it to cut the front piece. Just fold the sewing allowance in. And then we're going to place a fabric and then cut the back piece. You must also have enough fabric to make a belt, because as you noticed, it does have a belt. Okay. My experiences though has been, I'm just going to remove the this allowance there. It should be able to fit well. Sometimes when you leave that allowance, it tends to create a like bulkiness there, and you don't want anything like that. Okay, so that's it. That will be, we're going to use this to cut for the front. Okay, so I've gone on to place the back piece on the front piece, and I just pinned it just to keep it in place. And we're going to be cutting this, so we do need to draw our front neckline. Remember, we said it's going to be deeper than the back, so we used 4 inches depth for the front. Just gonna connect it there, and on the armhole we need to come in 0.75. Okay, so you just measure half the line. Okay, we're going to come in by 3/4 so that we create the okay, so, and then we just cut it, and we should be ready to go to the machine. Okay, okay, so we have that. And if you've noticed, I'm doing a different sleeve, because what they have in the photo is like a bat wing, but I decided to do a sleeveless because I'm not so sure that I have The next thing is we're going to go to the machine and do the finishing. You can see this fabric frays a lot. It's already fraying, so I'm just going to go use a zigzag stitch to lock the edges so that it stops or minimizes the fraying. Okay, so we're going to go to the machine and then we'll see how it goes. This is the waistline, because I want to finish it off once I've joined the back to the front. And I also left out the neckline. I also want to do the same. I have to join the front to the back and then I'll do the finishing off. So what is supposed to happen now is to place the back pieces and the right pieces, rather the back and the front pieces. What am I saying? So we're going to place the back and the front pieces, okay, the back and the front, and then I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulders. Okay, so join the shoulders. I'll leave the armhole and then join the sides. Okay, and join the sides. Let me put it this way so that you can see. So this would be the side from the armhole. Okay, so this is our armhole. As you can see, I tried to do a zigzag stitch, but it was not neat. You see, it still has this threads poking. That's why I ended up just doing the folding. It's neater and less stressful. Okay, so this is our armhole. Okay, this is our armhole. So I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulder. Okay, join the shoulders on both sides, stitch, leave the armhole open, and then stitch the side. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. Okay, for the other side of the blouse. So that way we'll have joined our front to the back. And then after that, I'm also going to go ahead and attach the zipper. I'm going to go ahead and attach the zipper at the back. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attach the zipper at the back, and then we'll be done with the blouse, really, because the only thing that is left now is to join the shoulders on both sides, and then we are going to come to the sides. From where your armhole starts or where it ends, you just stitch all the way, and then you do the same thing. Attach the shoulders, and then stitch all the way here. This is the extension that we did where we want. This is the length of the longest side of the blouse. We're going to attach there, and then I'm going to show you how it looks like. Okay, and then I'm also going ahead to place the zipper at the back. Okay, so I just decided to place the blouse now on the floor so that you can see the full image of how it looks like. So after you've joined the shoulders, so I went to join the shoulders, the back to the front, and then also back to the front. I attached the zipper after finishing off the edges. Okay, and then I went to join from where the armhole starts all the way to the length, or rather to the width. This is going to be the longest part of the blouse. As you saw in the thumbnail, it has the sides are longer than the front and the back. Okay, so this is the shorter part of the blouse. The back and the front, the center back and the center front will be shorter than the sides of the blouse. So this is the size of the blouse. Here you leave it open. Okay, so here it's not stitched. The stitch only comes from you join the shoulders, and then you join from under the armhole all the way, and then the same here from the armhole, under the armhole, all the way to that edge there. Okay, and then this is our armhole and our neckline. So now the only thing that's left is to finish off the neckline and the armhole. You can do this by using a bias. You can turn it with a bias, or you can fold it twice the way we finished off the edges. So you just fold once and then you fold it twice, all the way to where the stitch stopped. The same here, you fold it once, you fold it twice, the way you would fold or turn a hem, like here. This is what we did here. You just fold it once, fold it twice again. So I'm going to chop off the excess zipper, this part, and then I'm going to finish it off with a bias, and then I'm just going to iron it. So the sides here, you leave it unhemmed, right, or unstitched all the way there. So the stitch again is just from the armhole to there, armhole to there, and then your shoulders, and then your blouse is done basically. And then you go on to finish off the neckline with a bias, or with the word is gone now, okay, a facing. That's it. You can turn it with a facing, you can turn it with a bias, or you can just fold it twice. But I think I'm going to use a bias on both the armhole and the neckline, and then I'm just going to iron it, and then the blouse is done. Okay, so I'm going to show you also some images that I'm going to take in the blouse for you to see how it fits. And then I used a belt just to cinch it in so that the design comes out nicely. If you want, you can just make a straight strip, maybe 2 inches, 3 inches, depending on the width of the belt that you want, of the same fabric, and you can use that as your belt to cinch it in. That way the design comes out really nice. I used the belt that I bought, so that's just my preference. I was also feeling tired by the time I finished making the blouse. So you can also cut, and also the amount of fabric that you need to have enough to create a belt. So if you have enough fabric, just cut a piece of strip, just a straight strip, and then you can turn it and use it as your belt to cinch it. Okay, so I decided to do just a brief explanation for those who are beginning and they really don't know how to turn the neckline with bias. Okay, so this is what you call a bias strip or bias binding. Okay, you can ask for this in your fabric stores. It's cut on 45-degree angle. So this is what you call bias, and it's used for many purposes. One of them is you can use it to turn your edges. So this is what I use for the neckline. Before I come to that, you can see I just decided to just fold the armhole, and then I'm just going to press it after this. Okay, I wanted to show you that I went on to pin the bias to the neckline, right sides facing. Okay, I'll turn it to the right side so you can see. So this is how I pinned it. Right sides are facing each other. Okay, right sides are facing each other. So you pin it around, and you're going to go and stitch where you see that first fold. You stitch there, and then after you stitch, you will flip it to the other side, and then you make a stitch, a top stitch all around. So I pinned it from one side of the zip all the way round to the other side of the zip. So I'm going to put a stitch there, and then I'm going to flip it, make another stitch, and our neckline will be done. Okay, so I've pinned it all the way to the other end. So it's just a stitch, and then you flip this way, and then you stitch by the edge there all around, and then your neckline will be done. After that, I'm just going to iron it, and then I'll show you how the blouse fits. Okay, so thank you very much for watching till the end. Please remember to subscribe to our channel. You can also tag us, follow us, like and share on Facebook and Instagram. We're there as Miranda's Designs and Creations. We'll see you in our next video. Bye.